Welcome to this Freddie Loves Crochet video tutorial for a granny square bag. So to make this large granny square bag, you need 3 squares, granny squares, just traditional regular granny squares. If you don't know how to make those, I've linked a video to traditional easy granny squares in the description, so you can go and find how to do that there. And you need 3 exactly the same. You can either do them kind of in a colourway like I have, just using 4 colours, or you can just use random scraps, but ideally you want all 3 of your squares to be exactly the same. And how many rounds you do, so how many different colours you do, is entirely up to you, depending on how big you want the square. This one is 12. You can do 11, 12, 13, 14. So it depends on how big you want your bag to finish up. So I've done 12 here. So I've done 4 of each colour, and I've made sure that the last colour that I do is the colour that I'm going to finish off the bag in. So that I'm going to do the top of the bag, and also the handle is in that colour. I think that looks best if you finish off that way. So you're going to sew, you can crochet these together, but I'm going to use a mattress stitch to sew these squares together. And basically you want to sew them, seam them up there, and then I want to put another one there. So you want to seam them like that. So get a length of yarn in the matching colour. And you need a darning needle. You're going to thread that through, and just start with these 2 for now. Okay, so you need to make sure that your clusters match up, but you're going to work into the actual tops of the stitches to join, rather than in the sort of spaces which is where you normally would work your crochet for your granny squares. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you so you can see exactly how I do this. So I've got my length here of yarn threaded on. I tend to start in one of the chain stitches that are in the bottom corners. So if you find your bottom corner loop here, so your chains, and I start in there. So put my needle into one side, put my needle into the other side, and pull both sides up. Now it's up to you if you want to secure this or not, or you just want to sew it in. I tend to tie a knot in the bottom here, and then I'll sew that in. And you'll notice that I've got these are the right sides facing, so I've got the right sides facing up, and then we'll sew that in on the other side afterwards. So to do a mattress stitch, you want to go into the very top, so you can see your clusters of 3 here. So I'm going to go into the very top of that first stitch on one side, keep that tail in, and then find your matching cluster the other side and go into the very top of that one, and then pull that together, pull it all the way through. Apologies, I've gone off screen there. Find your next, the second one of that in that cluster of 3 on both sides, so into one side, into the other, and pull them both, and it's almost an invisible join this, and then onto that third, and all the way up. So you're going to join all the way up here, up to the top. Then you're going to get your other square, and you're going to do exactly the same there. So you've got the 3 of them attached together like that. So if you pause the video here, when we rejoin it again, you will be at the point where all these are joined together. Okay, so you should now have your 2 seams done here and have this V shape done. So what you need to do now is flip it over, so you've got the wrong side facing, and now we're going to fold up. So bring the bottom one up and bring the 2 sides ones in like that, and now you're going to seam up here and here, and making sure you get a nice, neat, secure finish in the middle there. So pause it here whilst you seam exactly the same way that you did on the other side, and then you start to see your bag shape forming. So pause here and I'll meet you back soon. So you should now have all your seams sewn up and everything joined together, so it looks the same both sides. May just need a little slight adjustment. And now we're going to sort of finish it off by doing like a band here, which also gives it extra depth to the bag, but it finishes it off nicely and it gives sort of like a nice top to it. And then we'll do the handle after that. So there's lots of different ways that you could do this, but the way I've done it is I'm going to do single crochet, which is in the US or a UK double crochet, and I'm going to do it in the top of every one of these. In the top of every one of these stitches here. So obviously each cluster there are 3 stitches. Then when I get to corner spaces, so for example when I get to here in that corner space, I'm going to do 1 in that one single crochet in that one at the bottom, and then we've got the 3rd one here, 1 in there as well, and then carry on along. So in the corner spots, so there'd be 1 at the top here. On here, because these have already sort of been worked into and have been joined together, I'm just putting 1 single crochet in each one of those corner spots. But these that haven't been, I'm going to put 2 single crochets in there, and I'm just going to work 1 single crochet all the way along. I like to start in the top corner there, so just put a slip knot on. You can start directly with a slip knot if you want, or you can just insert your hook and yarn over and pull through. So I'm going to start in that corner space, and like I said, because that one hasn't actually been worked into at all or been joined into, I'm going to start with 2 single crochets in there. 1, 2, and then in the top of every stitch from the cluster, I'm going to work a single crochet, which is a double crochet in the UK, and I'm going to do that all the way around and then join with a slip stitch to that first one that I made. How many you do, it's up to you. I like it to be about 1 inch thick, which is 4 to 5 rows of it. So when you come back round, you'll join to here, chain 1, and then in the next stitch you'll continue to do your single crochets into the top of the ones that we're doing now. You can do it, like I say, to your desired height. About 1 inch, 2 to 2.5 centimeters, like that is quite nice. There's a nice chunky band around the top of the bag. Generally, depending on the yarn that you're using, will equate to 4 or 5 rows of this. So if you continue on round until you've got that preferred desired length or height, should I say, to the top band, stop there once you're done, and then I'll show you how I have done the handle on this particular bag. There are so many different ways of doing a handle, but I'll show you the one that I chose that I thought went really well with this style of bag. So if you pause here and carry on doing your rounds of single crochet, I'll meet you back round and we'll finish off with the handle. So you should now have completed this top band here, and I'm just going to show you an optional one extra round that you can do if you want to do a little sort of fancier edge on there. I'll show you one that I've completed here on another bag. If you can see there, I'll zoom in. It's the crab stitch, which is the reverse single crochet, and as you can see, it kind of finishes off the bag really nicely. You don't have to do it, it is an optional, but it does kind of look nice. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'll show you how to make the strap. So from where you finished your round, you should have slip stitched onto the first stitch. Now this is a bit tricky to get get your hands and your head working together here, because for right-handers we would normally work from the right along the left. For left-handers you would go from the left along to the right. So we're now going to work, it's called the crab stitch because it's crabs kind of walk sideways, or it's also called the reverse single crochet, because what we're going to do is we're going to work the opposite way that you normally would, and it gives it that twisted look. So I've done a chain 1 from where I joined. I'm going in to the stitch in the opposite direction that I normally would, and I'm going to just complete my single crochet, which is a UK double crochet. I'm going to complete that as normal. So it feels a bit, oh, and it's quite easy to do that as well. Do that one again. It feels a bit strange at first because you're working sort of the opposite way around. And it takes a little bit of time to get your head into, but it's great for edgings. You can't really work into again. So those stitches that it creates make it very difficult for you to then do another round on top of it. So it's good for a blanket edger or cushion edge. It gives quite a nice sort of solid ridge, and it's really good for the top edge of a bag. And it's just a really nice way to finish, and it looks fancier than it actually is. And once you get into the hang of it, it's really simple. So if you want to finish off your bag, your main part of your bag with that stitch, you can do so now. I'll finish mine off, and you pause it here, and then we're gonna do the strap and we're all done. Okay, so hopefully if you've decided to add this crab stitch here, you've managed to do that now. I absolutely love the way it makes it look. Just really finishes it off. And we've now got a complete bag. I've attached the strap. This is made using a Romanian cord technique. It's a slight variation on your traditional Romanian cord. Normally it's done using a single crochet, and just to make this a little bit sort of bigger, thicker, and a bit sort of more detailed, I have used a half double crochet, which is a half treble in the UK, to make that. And so you don't want it too long, just to join nicely there. So I'm going to show you how to make that. You get it to the length that you want, and then you just sew it to the side here. So it's made as a separate piece that is sewn on. So put that to the side. It's a bit tricky, but intricate this, so it's worth going up a half a hook size. So I did make all the bag in a 5 hook. I don't know if you can see that there, and then we've got a 5.5 for the cord, for the strap, the Romanian cord. Just makes things a little bit easier to see. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. There we go. So make a slip knot on your hook and then chain 2. So the starting bit is a little bit different, and then once you've got the start bit done, then it just follows the same procedure. So you're going to yarn over and go into second chain from the hook, and you're going to make yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. So you're going to make a half double crochet. So this bottom loop that was that chain there, keep your eyes on that, because that's where we're heading for next. But before we do that, we're just going to turn, yarn over and go into that chain that I pointed out, yarn over, pull through. So we've got 3. So we're going to make another half double crochet like that. So we're now going to turn again to the side, and you'll see there are like 3 loops there. That was from the half double crochet that we just made. 1, 2, 3. That's where we're going to put our hook through all 3 after a yarn over. So we yarn over, we're going to go in 1, 2. Sometimes you do need your finger to help you here. 2 and 3, because it can be a bit tricky. So you're going to yarn over and just pull through those 3, which leaves that yarn over still on there. Apologies if you can hear a meowing cat, he is hungry. Yarn over then and pull through all 3. So then we twist again. So we turn, you find those 3 loops again. 1, 2, oh sorry, 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. Get that third one on there. It's tricky, that third one. Yarn over and then pull it through those 3, and then yarn over through another 3. Turn, yarn over, find those 3 loops that you just made. They are quite tricky to see. 1, 2, 3. If you're not sure of this, or you can't quite get the anatomy of it, it's worth just having a little practice, maybe with cotton yarn, which is a little bit easier to see. So I've pulled through all 3 and then yarn over through all 3. On there, turn it again, yarn over and then find those 3 at the side, those 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. So the reason you need to go up a hook size, you might even want to go up another size if you wanted, just because it's quite tight and it can get tricky. So to try and make it a little bit looser, yarn over, pull through all 3 and then find those 3. 1, ooh, apologies, going off the screen, 2 and 3. I'm trying to look at what I'm doing and look at the screen at the same time. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, one more time. Keep turning. So yarn over and then using my finger to help me, because I do find it easier that way. 1, especially when I'm on camera. 2 and 3. Yarn over and pull through all 3. And you begin to form this really lovely rope kind of cord effect. You see it there. And it does have a bit of stretch, but it'll only stretch so far. And you need to account for that negative ease within your work. It will stretch a little bit, so don't make your cord, your strap too long, because it will have some stretch. Sorry, just knocked the camera there as well. So there you have it, the final bag. If you enjoyed this tutorial, you can find written versions on my website, which is all linked down in the description, and you can also subscribe, because I've got lots more tutorials coming up. You can subscribe to my website and get some free updates for when free written patterns go on there as well. Thanks for tuning in today. Take care. Bye bye now.